Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali from Acrylics, and today we're going to make a beautiful winter scenery with a little snowman. So let's get right into it. So to make our sky, the first color we're going to be using is Pastel Cerulean, and I always say this in my videos, but it's really important to go from left to right properly so you don't miss any spots. Once you feel happy with the amount of Pastel Cerulean you use, the next color we're going to be using is Titanium White. So the Titanium White will be right under the Pastel Cerulean. Make sure to spread it properly from right to left, and then drag it a bit over the Pastel Cerulean to help you with the gradient later on. So the next color that's going to be used is Pastel Periwinkle, and you're going to use this right under the Titanium White, and what you're going to essentially do is drag it upwards towards the Pastel Cerulean. Whenever you want to make a sky with two very different colors, I would always suggest using Titanium White between them because it helps with a really nice gradient. So keep dragging the Pastel Periwinkle all the way up towards the Pastel Cerulean, and once it's there, keep going until you see the line kind of disappear. So now I'm taking white and going over the Pastel Periwinkle just because I felt like it was a bit too strong, so you can do that too if you like. So now we're going to make the ice reflection, so what I'm doing is taking white and Pastel Periwinkle to get a very light pink color. I'm also dragging it up just for it to have a nice gradient with the rest of the colors. Next, what we're going to do is take white and then Pastel Cerulean to get a nice color for the reflection. Since both colors do contain white, it should be relatively easy to blend them together and make a nice gradient. Now let's get a smaller brush and start with the mountains. I would suggest putting tape just because it makes the whole process a lot easier. The colors we're going to be using to make the mountains is going to be Pastel Cerulean, Paynes Gray, and Titanium White. Mix them together as I'm doing so until you get a nice gray-blue color. First, I want to make mountains that are really far back, so I'm going to give them less detail. So you can just make simple silhouettes of mountains right here. Once you let these mountains dry, now we're going to make the mountains that are in the front. So use the same color you used before, but add more blue and a bit more Paynes Gray. If you're wondering why, it's just because these mountains are going to be a bit closer, so they should be a bit darker. I'm going to make one big mountain on the left of the background mountains, and you can see that the color is darker, so it's okay to overlap them. By the way, the video is sped up just so I don't bore you guys, so don't worry, I'm not going this fast. I would suggest taking your time with these mountains. Next, I'm going to make the mountains on the right, and I'm going to do a couple mountains instead of one, just so it has some differentiation, so you could do the same. And then of course don't forget to fill them up as well. Now that you're done with the mountains, we're going to add the shadows of the mountains onto the ice, and since it's not water and it's ice, there's not really a reflection, it's more like there's just a bit of shadow. Once you're done with that, it's time to add a hill at the bottom of the painting. So what you see me doing is just kind of making the outline of how big I want the mountain, and once I'm certain of how I like it, I'm going to fill it in with a bigger brush. Now obviously you want to add a bit of shadow so it looks more like realistic snow, so we're adding titanium white plus pastel cerulean to give it a nice shadowy look. And once it's fully dried up, what you can do is add some more titanium white like the way you see me doing here, just because I want the snow to look vibrant. Now it's time to start adding highlights to the mountains to make them look like snowy mountains. I always start by adding a small layer first just so I know where I want it to be, so that's what you see me doing here. The way I'm essentially doing is by covering the entire one side of a mountain with white and then trying to slowly blend it into the other side. And then this is me kind of blending it in the way I said before. I'm really sorry guys, but my camera actually cut out while I was doing the second layer for the mountains, but this is me kind of doing the third layer. But what I'm basically doing is waiting for it to dry and then putting more white on top of it in different places. A different technique I was trying to see if I could mimic the snow was actually poking it with white, and it kinda does help. And here I want to show you guys a mistake that I made, but I want to show you how it's okay to make mistakes. I didn't realize how much white was on the brush, and I ended up putting way too much white. So first I kind of just spread it around, and then you know what? I decided to use my finger to actually blend it with the mountain. I actually ended up liking the look I did with the finger, so hey, sometimes when you make mistakes, it's okay, they can actually help you out. And now you can see me doing my fourth layer with these mountains. I'm just kind of poking it, I'm kind of just trying to blend it with the other side, but not overly. Now it's time for the first layer of stars, so I'm using a smaller fan brush and I'm kind of just hitting some stars onto the canvas just because I want some background stars. Now let's move on to making a tree. Now for me, this is only my second or third time making trees, so I'm not super comfortable with them. But the rule I'm kind of going by is the closer it is to the roots, the darker I make it. And then when I make the branches, I try to make them as thin as possible. Now that we're done with the tree, we're going to do the second layer of stars, and these stars are going to be much bigger because I want them to look like they're in the front. And if you guys are wondering why I didn't show you how to make the shadow of the tree, it's because I don't really like it and I'm actually going to cover it up later on anyway. So now I want to add some details to the tree, so what I'm going to do is add some snow onto the tree and the tree branches, and this is just going to give it that snowy look that I'm trying to capture. So you can see that I'm adding snow onto places that make sense, like the crevices, the crooks, and this is just going to give it that realistic, nice snowy look. And hey, a little secret that I'm doing, a lot of the spots that I don't like about my tree, I'm actually using the snow to cover it up, so you guys could do that too. Now that we're done with that, we're going to add a little snowman right under the tree. So the first thing you see me doing is just making a little circle right next to the tree. I had a little cutoff issue again with the camera, but what I did with the big snowball is add some pastel cerulean at the bottom of it to give it a more 3D look. And now we're going to add the snowball on top of that one, and I'm doing the same thing but just at a smaller scale. I'm making a circle and then I'm going to add some pastel cerulean at the bottom just to give it that 3D look. You can add whatever detail you like to the snowman. I decided to add 2 branch arms and I'm going to add a little pink beanie to make it look cute. And there you guys have it. These are the colors I used: Pastel Periwinkle, Paynes Gray, Pastel Cerulean, Titanium White, and Mars Black. And then these are the paint brushes that I used. Thank you so much guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help out my channel. Let me know what else you'd like to see, and I'll get to it right away. This is another video you guys might find really interesting, so give it a watch, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.